Why the AI bubble is scarily different than the 90s tech bubble. Everybody's asking the same question right now. Is AI the next dot-com bubble? And honestly, I get it. We're watching companies pour billions in the chips, data centers, and even power plants. The scale of spending is actually larger than what we saw during the dot-com era, so the fear makes sense. When you actually look at the structure of what's happening, the AI bubble is scarily different from the 90s tech bubble, and it's not in the way you think. Stick with me because at the end of this, you're going to understand exactly why the comparison breaks down and where the real risk actually is, and what it means if you're a business trying to figure out what to do right now. So let's start with why people are scared in the first place. The comparison everyone keeps reaching for is the dot-com bubble of the early 2000s, and that's the main driver of fears in this conversation. The central question is pretty simple. Is the spending on AI actually going to lead to returns? And if the bubble pops, is all the money companies are spending going to be wasted? During the dot-com era, there was a massive misallocation of investment. Capital was cheap. The playbook was raise a bunch of investor money, spend it to gain users, and figure out how to monetize those users later. The pitch was essentially build the audience and the monetization will come afterwards. And when the bubble burst, it became painfully clear that a lot of the systems built, the audiences assembled, and the customers acquired, they could never be made profitable. Given the technology at the time, the cost to acquire these customers just didn't work. Think about Pets.com. They built an online store for a market where there was really no genuine interest at the scale they needed. It turned out to be a bad investment because it was much earlier than customers were ready to spend online. And that story played out across hundreds of companies. The term from Austrian economics that fits perfectly here is malinvestment. Capital was cheap, a lot of it was sloshing around, and people made malinvestments trying to build out these systems. Some of those investments played out. Many proved to be really bad. So here's where the fear gets intensified. Some of the same customer acquisition strategies from the dot-com era are starting to play out. Some of the business plans are looking similar. People are drawing the parallel and worrying that we're headed toward the same type of danger with AI systems. And the scale, it's actually much larger. We're investing far more money in AI than we ever did in the dot-coms. And the AI build-out includes infrastructure, training models, building chips, building data centers, and even building power plants. The build-out is so much larger than the dot-com bubble was, which makes people feel even more nervous. So I understand the fear. The pattern looks similar, the numbers are bigger, and on the surface it seems worse. But this is where the comparison falls apart. The dot-com era was investing in flights of fancy. A lot of those investments didn't have any proven business need behind them. It was greenfield, unproven technology being funded in many cases. People were throwing money at ideas that sounded exciting but had no real demand underneath them. AI is a much different animal. AI isn't just funny videos, crazy images, and long rambling stories. There's a real business problems being solved through AI that have existed for a long time and carry a lot of payback and value. We're talking about automating really difficult projects, robotic applications, self-driving cars, weather prediction, and medical applications. These are thorny real-world problems that currently require real, expensive experts. The demand is already proven, the problems already exist, and the value is already understood. So the malinvestment framing doesn't apply the same way, because we're not guessing whether people want this. We know they do. The question is just execution. Now, does that mean every AI company survives? Obviously not. Some of the big AI players could go bankrupt. Some chip makers could fail. Some data center manufacturers and builders could fail to deliver. The power plants being built may not pencil out in the end. There are going to be mistakes made in investments. I'm not going to sit here and tell you otherwise. We're developing a whole new technology after all. But this is the part most people miss. Even if there are bad decisions made on infrastructure and AI product development, that doesn't mean those investments were for nothing. Companies will actually learn from those failures. If it's infrastructure, other companies will gladly take it over. Failed companies are going to get bought up quickly. All of that infrastructure is going to get absorbed into the overall market of AI services. The probability of the same large bubble of misallocated investments that happened during the dot-com is probably not going to happen during the AI era. The mistakes made in AI are going to seem painful and large, but they're not going to be big and lasting. And the dot-com era actually confirms this pattern. A lot of those dot-com companies went poof, but the infrastructure and everything they built did get absorbed back into the overall infrastructure of the internet. And importantly, there weren't a lot of consumers who were actually hurt. It was really just the investors in the bad companies who suffered. We're in the same situation with AI, except this time the investments are more focused, more systematized, and solving problems we already know are real. The dot-com era was fractured, running off in a million directions, and it really didn't treat investor capital with nearly the care that the AI companies are doing today. AI companies are burning through more capital than the dot-com companies did, but they're doing it in a much more systemic way. That's the core difference between the two eras. So if you're a business looking to adopt AI, what does this mean for you? Your biggest risk is not that AI is going to collapse. Your biggest risk is that you pick an AI technology that doesn't have long legs and gets supplanted by something else. When you're building out your AI solution, keep an eye towards the future. Be as technology independent and vendor independent as possible. Be very careful about being too wedded to one technology. Make sure you understand the full market before committing. The reassuring part? This is a more focused market than the dot-com ever was. The demand is real, the problems are real, and the value is real. You just need to be smart about how you plug into it. If you're trying to figure out how to adopt AI into your business without making the kind of mistakes we've just talked about, I actually help companies do exactly that. We take businesses from zero AI adoption all the way through full implementation with governments, security, training, the whole shooting match. If that sounds like where you are right now, click the link below and book a call. I'll walk you through it. And if you got value from this video, do me a favor. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.